When I was 44, I had to have a total hysterectomy, which put me into surgical menopause. And for about 3 months, I was okay. And then I fell off a cliff. It was though having my womb and my ovaries and my fallopian tubes and my cervix removed had actually unplugged something in me that made me me. I became a completely non-functioning human being. I couldn't open the front door. I couldn't pick up the telephone. I couldn't see anybody. I had essentially become an empty shell. I'd become a husk of myself. And in the middle of the night, I would wake up in a panic so severe that I was paralyzed and I couldn't move. When I would finally make it the few steps down the hall to my mother's room, I would crawl into bed next to her like a child. And I would lay my head on her chest and sob. I rang my GP surgery and said, "Is there a menopause support service? I desperately need to speak to somebody who understands what I'm going through." They just said, "No, sorry, there's nothing like that." I collapsed into the sofa and sobbed for about 2 hours. It was grim. There was snot and bubbles and ugh. When you feel like you're going mad, the hardest part is the feeling of being alone. It's the feeling of being the only person in the world who is struggling the way you are. One day I was driving and I had this thought, which was, if I just grab the top of the steering wheel and turn it fast, about 180 degrees, this will all be over. I suddenly realised I had my 4 dogs in the car and realised that I couldn't do that to my 4 beautiful Jack Russells. When I told my husband what had happened in the car, he picked me up, drove me to the doctor, and then she told me that it was appropriate for me to have hormone replacement therapy. And I started the treatment the same day. And I can remember 2 days later, I woke up and rather than it being dark, I remembered seeing blue sky. Not just menopause, but female gynecological conditions so often are laughed about, ignored, misunderstood because it's hidden. We can't actually see it. That compounds the loneliness that the woman feels, and it also makes her wonder, are they right? Am I just overreacting? Have I really been going mad? I think if it was something that affected men, I think there would be more impetus to do something about it. If menopause made a man's penis shrivel up and fall off at 51, we'd have sorted it a long time ago.